So I'm Reverend Erin. Feels like I need to introduce myself again. I've been gone for a week. Still remember me? I see Marcella's still here. I thought that she was on Facebook picking another choice here. If you were on Facebook, you get that. We had April Fool's Day jokes going around. So, I, on this trip, had an amazing experience that was a side trip from the experience that I took. I was at a spiritual conference, a Louise Hay conference, and then I also went out to AGNT meetings, and AGNT is the Association for Global New Thought, and it's New Thought ministers that have come together from all different New Thought denominations to bring oneness and unity experiences to our world. So they've done work with the Dalai Lama. It's the group that put on the Season for Nonviolence, and they are now pioneering a new expression called the Awakened World Film Festival to acknowledge and get out conscious films. So it's a pretty amazing and powerful group of people. But the side note is that on this trip, I got detoured in the Phoenix airport. And I wasn't happy about that detour, but here's a blessing from it. There was a moment while I was waiting for one of the planes in the many hours that I was there. I don't know which plane at which gate, but it was one of the planes. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see people starting to clap and starting to stand and crowds just joining. And I thought, what's going on? It's like there's a celebrity coming in here or something. I don't know what this is. And the clapping just turned into a roar. It was just getting louder and louder. And as it was expanding, this clapping, I see this train of amazing men getting pushed in their wheelchairs, dressed the same, and they were getting pushed through this line of people. And this line of people, this horde of people, was just roaring and roaring. And we all got involved and all started clapping. And the moment that you recognized and really felt and could really see that this was the group of 11 of the veterans that were heading to Washington, D.C., to be acknowledged this week, you could feel the palpable, powerful energy of love in the whole airport. It was an amazing demonstration. You had these elders who had lived their whole lives in service, and this service that had been so long ago, still so powerfully acknowledged. Now, this energy of this clapping and this energy of everyone pausing and the feeling that you could feel in your heart was clear that it was a healing vibration that was being shared. A healing vibration of love and acknowledgement. Now, in this day, when we have soldiers coming back in intense post-traumatic stress, such intense post-traumatic stress that they are committing suicide frequently, that they're feeling isolated. I was even at a hair appointment here in Lee Summit, and a beautiful woman shared with me about her brother, who was in such severe post-traumatic stress that he actually went out with a gun so that the police would come and take him out. So that the police would come and relieve him of this life, because he would come out with that weapon that he knew if he called the police in at that same moment, he would be gone. And that intensity of suffering that people have when they are in isolation, regardless of the ideas or the judgments on what people do with their lives or whether we should be in war or not in war, right? Regardless of any of that, when people are isolated, it is hard to heal. Because part of our healing comes from unconditionally loving each other and opening our hearts in unity and embracing each other. And I could feel that healing in that room extending from these men, and I felt it pressing out to all people who may feel separated and alone. The power of the collective is incredible. The power of the collective is immeasurable. The power of the collective is beyond what any one of us as individuals can do. Can you imagine for a moment what healing it created for Washington, D.C. to invite those men out to come out together at an advanced, beautiful age to experience love and support? A lot happens when we focus on the power of the collective. There's a congregant, and I asked permission to share this story, who has been breathing through the passing of his brother and those moments where you don't know, is he going to be here, is he not? And he shared with me this story that on the night before they're supposed to go in to take his brother off of the life machines, he went to have a meal with his sister. And as he's having this meal, they're discussing this process of unplugging him. And they're supporting each other. Imagine that field of energy, right? Imagine that space. At the end of the meal, when they go to get their check, the waitress lets them know that, in fact, a mother and a daughter that are sitting at a table nearby said, "We want to get this for you. This is our gift." They heard what was going on. They heard about this difficult decision. They heard their hearts speaking in a normal restaurant, in a normal area, and they decided to do what is not a normal thing. They decided to do something extraordinary. And they said, even this small gesture, may it bring comfort to you by that gesture of giving. And this story, this love, this God expression was so powerful that it reminded our beloved that we live in a loving universe, that we live in a kind universe with good people, even when we're in the midst of something that seems to be showing us the opposite, you see? Even when we're in the midst of being saturated with details and ideas and concepts that may seem less than holy, there are angels among us to remind us that we are whole and that life is holy through a small gesture of love. We have a prosperity course that we're having right now. It's going on, and I think it's one of the cutest things in the world that one of the pieces that's been shared in this course is this concept that I thought a prosperity course, like I knew it was going to be a prosperity course, so I knew it would be about tithing and abundance, money, and all things God, good things, right? But I didn't realize it was going to be such full and complete work, like soul work, like emotional work, like amazing connection work, like epiphanies and healings and gorgeousness and sharing of community. And I love that. Because there is something that happens when you come together. There is something to a power when people join in a shared intention. When people say, I may have fears, I may have concepts that limit me, I may have some things that I'm working through, but I am willing to share this with you and to come together and to see that among us there is absolute wholeness, among us there is absolute power, and I'm willing to give myself to this community, give myself to the circle to see what unfolds. And it is amazing, the demonstrations that unfold. I don't know why I would still be surprised by it, that each time I take a prosperity course that my life is blessed. This time I got the PMI off the mortgage. I got the phone bill down. These places that you wouldn't even think it would come from, right? So amazing. Little things that make a difference. But when you set an intention with a group, when you come together in a community, the opportunity to bless, to heal, to prosper, to reveal, to awaken, to expand, to enlighten, and to transform is magnified beyond that which I think our minds could even ideate in a moment, because things that were not possible before those collective minds came together are now possible. Because we come together, the universe sees a new vibration that it can't just see when it's just me. That can't just see when it's just you in isolation. But the moment you set an intention with a group, the moment you merge together and say, I am you, you are me, here we are, there is a whole new holding space, a whole new resource. That source says, there's a space for a mighty vision. Right there is a space for a mighty vision. And then the universe rushes in to fill that space. Last year we were doing our film festival. We had our summer film festival. Did any of you make that? And it was a great experience. We started out with a New Thought film and then did 3 others. And this year we're in the process of planning for the films. And one of the things you look at when you're planning for things is, one, are there people that are wanting this, right? Are there people that are wanting this? And, and 2 is, are there people that are willing to give it, right? Are there people that are willing to support it and not just want it and come, but they're willing to offer it to make it happen? And last year, one of our members came up to me and said, I really enjoyed that festival. A few came up. And one in particular said, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to expand it to the next level. Let's go for it. Let's start getting the ball rolling. I'm here, right? Can you hear that? That's the first step. So one power-filled individual said to the universe, I'm willing to serve. I'm here. I'm setting an intention. It has been launched. So what does a person of wisdom say? Beware. Be listening. Be awake. Breathe this in for a moment to find any place in our lives where we can apply this today, because there's a place for each of us where we can hear this on a level that expands this story from being a story about something to being a story about us. The service comes forward, the willingness comes forward. Now the awareness is out to be heard. So on the back of this story, I got an email from Tut. Does anyone get notes from the universe from Tut? Tut's one of my favorite buddies. It's an email program where they send you these bursts of love, and they're so connected. So anyway, on the email from Tut, I scrolled down because we were looking at films and looking for films, and what are the films that are calling to us this summer? And as I'm scrolling down, I see this great film, and it's called New Thought, the movie. Now, last year we did What is New Thought? New Thought, the movie. Well, can you just believe it that there are 2 films, like we're having a film festival, right? 2 summers in a row, and it happens to be there's another film that showcases New Thought? I mean, how many have you seen? You know, right? But there's another film that showcases New Thought, and it's on Tut, and I think to myself, I wonder how we could get that here. Could we get that here? We can get that here. That would be great to get that here and to have that be our opening film. And I'm getting ready to leave for this trip, right? This trip where I go to Denver to go to the Hay House Conference, and then I go to California to go to AGNT. Now, I am thinking to myself, well, Erin, you got to be on the ball. There's a lot that has to happen to get this in motion. You have to research it. You have to do this. You figure out what the agreements are, right? Is this person still available? Do we have a date? What date can it be? We're going through the dates and trying to figure everything out. And I see that in the film, as I look at a little piece of the trailer, that our very own Charlotte Shelton is in the film. Connection. So I think, still I've got about 24 hours before I'm supposed to leave for my trip, but I think, that's a good link. That's a good link for us. So what happens, but the next morning I am walking through from my office, from the bookstore around to my office, and I'm walking, and we're just walking along, Joan and I, and all of a sudden there's Charlotte in the hallway. And I honestly can't remember if she said it first or if I did. It's very possible that she said it. Did she? Joan says she did. This is what happens. I need it like a note taker for the miracles. She said it first. She said, I'm in this film called New Thought, the movie, and I know that you all do the film series in the summer. Would you like to have that film? And I said, we would love to. I just saw it on Tut the other day and thought, how could we get this here? And she said, well, I can call the producer. I'll make sure, and I'll see if he would like to come out for it so we can do a panel with the producer and herself, and we'll put him up at the Unity Hotel, and you guys can host the film. So I think to myself, this is how someone like me can do a job like this. This is how it works, right? This is how it works. Or let's just say this is how we work it. This is how we work it so it works for us. So it takes that service and that willingness, the eyes and ears open, listening, receptive. I'm paying attention. A mighty vision has been launched. I have faith in that vision. Woo me, universe. Show me how it will unfold. I'm present, aware, networking, and having conversations, allowing the mind to not be so much the navigator as the heart. So, emails go back and forth that are pretty quick, right? Because this is to get something scheduled with us in 24 hours is a funny thing. And you can just imagine how much is on Charlotte's plate, but she is a guru at being in 8 million places at once. But emails go back and forth between the producers. We're debating dates and times and all of these people that are involved, and can this happen? We settle on Memorial Day weekend, which is both a, should we do this? Is this going to be good? And maybe we should do this. And this is what Memorial Day weekend is about. It's about spending time together in community. It's about a celebration. And why not kick off Memorial Day weekend with a Friday event kicking off our summer film series? So we have to make some quick decisions. We make them. Emails go back and forth with this producer. So the last email I get when I close my mailbox at the day trying to get to this flight is the producer's email and confirming, yes, even though we all realize it's Memorial Day, let's go for it and let's make that an important event for Memorial Day weekend. And so I leave it and I go to this conference in Denver. Well, I'm in this conference in Denver and I am at the hotel. And it's one of the last days of the conference. I'm sitting in front of the little lobby area with a friend, and there's 2 people to the side of us at another chair, getting ready to move on to whatever is next for them. And the person that I'm with, who is actually an online congregant from Georgia, who was going to this event, so one of our spiritual communities, again, getting the link, right? Intentions, stepping forward, willingness, who kept encouraging me to take this time to come out to this conference. So I'm sitting there with her, and she looks at this other woman's boots and just out of nowhere says, I just love those boots. Those look comfortable and like great boots and fun. And it sparks this conversation. So we start talking back and forth, and somehow it ends up, I need a little recorder with me, right? Somehow it ends up that this gentleman shares that they are film producers. And they're kind of cool, fun-looking young, not hippies, but like my kind of people, you know? Right? And we're in Colorado, you know? I'm just thinking, these are my people, like we're talking about the hiking boots, you know? And it turns out that he says, well, we're film producers. And I think to myself, because I know enough about principle, that you don't shy away. Even if you, your inner self is an introvert, you listen. And when you get things to say, when you get that Spirit is trying to do something here, you listen, right? And you act. So I say, is your film in this AGNT meeting that I'm going to? Because what I have found out in the meantime is that on a completely side note in Erin's mind, I was invited at the last Unity conference to go to this AGNT meeting, having no idea what the meeting is about, but knowing that AGNT is a powerful organization and being very supported by my board to say, yes, we will support you in going. I bring it back to the board. I don't know what's in the planning for next, but they invited me. I would love to go. Is this something we would like to do? Yes, yes, yes. And we'll find out what it is later. Well, as it turns out, it's the Awakened World Film Festival, right? in which part of my assignment is a list of lots and lots of films to preview the trailers for and to preview the whole films, to do voting and feedback to see which films are going to be featured and awarded in this festival. So I say to him, filmmaker, film festival. So is your film one of the ones? Because I'm going out to California to look at the film. To which he says, actually, no, I don't know. I think he didn't know anything about that or something like that. No, and I think, well, it was worth a shot. And then he says to me, to us, the film that I wrote is called New Thought, the movie. And I said to him, wait a minute, man, are you the guy that I just sent an email to that I got something back right before I left? And he looked at me, because, both of us are kind of have an unsuspected look, to us, right, for having the roles that we have, right? So, and he's kind of looking at me going, and I'm looking at him going, I said, are you guys the ones that are coming to Unity? So we did that whole thing. And I'm Erin, and you're, well, let's call this a meeting then. But what happened in that moment is that we were both charged up even more than before about what was before us. Because out of 4,000 people that were at this conference, through a pair of cute boots, we were attracted to the same space to discuss and acknowledge someone that otherwise we would have never even known who they were, right? Does the universe support an intention? Amen? Now, I know we all have stories like this, and sometimes I even back off from sharing stories like this in sermons because there's so many and they're so wild. And actually, if you keep going, you could go on all afternoon about them, right? Like if you wanted to hear the real list that's on my phone of my oh my gosh list of how this all came together, it's like pages long of notes where I just had to sit there and breathe and acknowledge it all and go, that happened, and then, oh my gosh, and then that unrelated happened. But after being at this conference, I realized, listening to all of these people share the stories, how much it fuels us to remember the stories and to share the stories and to tell the stories, because in community, when we feel and we know and we presence and we get to experience, whether through ourselves or through someone else, that the universe loves us, supports us, and wants us to thrive, something within us expands and a hope is reignited. Amen? So here's to hope reignited. The big key is that in this experience, there was willingness. There was support and there was skill. Those three things come together as sacred service. That sacred service was pressed through multiple people all throughout the globe. It was in the heart of the filmmaker. It's in the heart of Charlotte. It's in the heart of each one of us here. It's at the heart of anything that we as individuals or a collective are ready to experience and demonstrate. Someone stepped up to serve, and the universe saw it. Someone extended an invitation, and the universe saw it. Someone made connections, and the universe saw it. And someone said yes, and the universe celebrated it. The universe says when that happens, here is a space and a place where I can play big. Here is a space and a place where I can play big. So what is it on your heart today? What is it that maybe you haven't stepped forward with, that we haven't given full credit to a vision because we thought, oh, it's only shared by me. I don't have the people to support it. I don't have the connections. I don't have an invitation. I don't have this and that. But we are ready to release the idea that that is our job and recognize, no, that is the job of the source. The source. And it is delighted to do that job and to woo each one of us into seeing that job be made manifest. What is ours to do is to invite, to connect, to extend, and to make connections. We are all one. And when we play as one, we resonate with the expanded universe. Our word for this year as Unity Village Chapel is expansion. Our path is discovering where what lies within us, among us, and around us converges. And where it converges, we step forward in giving. We step forward in building the consciousness, taking a stand, and knowing that when we take a stand, when we set intentions, we're abundantly supported. So how expansive is the vessel that is me? How expansive is the vessel that is each one of us in our professional lives, in our relationship lives, in our family lives, in our community? David Owen Ritz, the author of the program that we do for the prosperity class, says that any truth that is new to you, if it is to be embodied, it must be acted on. Any truth embodied instantly demonstrates. Is this not a universe where we can instantly demonstrate? I believe it is. Instantly demonstrating. Let's have the clip. And let's take
Hi,
the lights.
I'm Ronnie. I'm 41 years old. I'm a father. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a teacher. I'm a citizen of Israel, and I need your help. Lately in the news you can hear about a war coming, a big one. Governments are talking about destruction, about self-defense, like this war is not about us. 3 days ago I posted a poster on Facebook. The message was simple: Iranian, we will never bomb your country. We love you. Attached to the poster, I wrote a few words. To the Iranian people, to all father, mother, children, brothers and sisters. For there to be a war between us, first, we must be afraid one of each other. We must hate. I'm not afraid of you. I don't hate you. I don't even know you. No Iranian ever did me no harm. I never even met an Iranian, just one in Paris in a museum. Nice dude. I see sometime here on the TV an Iranian. He's talking about war. I sure it does not represent all of the people of Iran. If you see someone on your TV talking about bombing you, be sure it does not represent all of the people of Israel. So within 24 hours, people start sharing the poster on their Facebook. Within 48 hours, the Iranian people start responding to the posters and share back their love to us. Hundreds of messages arriving from Iran telling the Israeli people, we love you back. The day after we were on TV, on newspaper, proving that the message was traveling fast. Okay, now we want to make sure that the message reach everybody, not only in the Facebook community, but everywhere. This is a message by the people to the people. So please donate and help us spread this message. Thank you.
If you couldn't hear all of that, check it out on Facebook, check it out on Twitter. I tweeted it and Facebooked it this morning. But it is a video that went viral. It is a truth embodied that instantly demonstrated. And it created person to person, heart to heart, beyond any other systems or structures, love and healing and truth. And this is the calling and this is the power of each one of us. Namaste.